Did that also have a resignation process involving a letter?
It did.
And what did you state in that letter, if you recall?
If I recall correctly, at that point it was, I talked about some health issues that my wife Mindy was going through.
Let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
To your time in the Navy. Tell us about your personal life during that time.
When I arrived in Norfolk, I was single, and several months later I met then Heather Bassett, who I later married.
Do you recall when you married Heather Bassett?
September 26th, 2009.
Tell us about that marriage.
It was not great. We had a lot of issues, I think, kind of throughout, to the point where I later heard the night before our wedding, she told somebody publicly that she didn't think it was going to last. We had. I was deployed a lot. I was deployed for a large chunk of our engagement. I was deployed within 2 months of us getting married. I don't think either of those is also a good step for marital success. I think we had a lot of disagreements kind of throughout our marriage.
What kind of disagreements did you have?
Things about money, about career moves, about children.
What were the disagreements about children?
When we had started dating, Heather had stated that she wanted children and that it would be relatively easy for her to have children. That she had a something called PCOS. I'm not really sure what you would call it. It's not a disease. It's a syndrome of some type. That there were medications she could take that would make it very easy down the line for her to have children.
Did you ever have children with Miss Bassett?
I did not. No. We discussed it many times. At one point, we both got tested to see if everything was in working order, but she chose not to take the medication and therefore we never had children. There was never a pregnancy or the attempt of a pregnancy.
When did you tell me about the end of your marriage to Heather?
Sometime in 2015, we had been having, I wouldn't even say issues because we weren't arguing, but she was gone a lot. She was spending nights at a friend's house, which was unusual. She was not around much, and at one point when she was around, she asked me to help her print a document from her computer. And while I was doing that, a Facebook message popped up on it that was obviously romantic in nature. She kind of snatched it away and said, "Oh, I just remembered how to print on here." And I started, I guess, looking into what was going on. And about a week later, I confronted her. At the time, I took a recording of the conversation. But I said I knew that she was seeing somebody. She told me that she'd been seeing a coworker of hers for some time, a man named Anthony Thomas, and she left that day and moved to his house, and then kind of moved back, I believe, the next day, and we talked about things for a little while. She continued to see him, and then she moved out again back into his house.
Did you eventually get divorced?
We did. I filed for divorce on September 1st of 2015, and it was granted about a month and a half later, if memory serves, sometime in October.
Were you represented by counsel during that divorce?
I was not.
Was Heather?
She was not.
And you said the divorce was finalized about a month later?
Roughly, yes. It was October of 2015.
Do you know if Heather ever remarried following your divorce?
She did. The following day, she married Tony, as he goes by, the man that she was seeing, that she told me she was seeing during our marriage.
When did you meet Mindi Kassotis?
I met Mindy on September 18th, 2015.
How did you meet?
We had met on a dating website called OkCupid, and we had talked for, I don't know, maybe a week or so, and then we met at a restaurant in Alexandria, Virginia.
Do you recall where you met?
Yeah, it's called Blackwall Hitch. It's a restaurant kind of right down by the water. It's a nice little spot.
And you eventually married Mindi Kassotis, correct?
Fairly
Or Mebane,
quickly.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, it was, you know, I mean, I would say within a month we were talking about marriage. You know, starting to look at wedding venues. It happened very quickly, and we married just over a year later on October 9th, 2016.
At the time that you married Mindi Kassotis, you still had obligations under your divorce decree to Heather, correct?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall the specific obligations that you had?
Yes, there were two loans that we were both on. A personal loan where we had refinanced some credit cards, if I remember correctly, and a Chevy Silverado. And later, I was also at that point living in the marital property and making payments on the mortgage. But later on, she asked, because that had been purchased under her VA mortgage. You know, for people who are veterans, they have the right to a VA mortgage. It had been purchased under her VA mortgage, right? So she asked me to work on refinancing and removing her from that so that she could use her VA mortgage for home purchase with Tony.
Were you able to do that refinancing?
I was not, no. I had started the process. I paid for an attorney because there was deed work required. It was kind of a lengthy process, and by the time it was reaching fruition, a lot of other things were going wrong.
Did you fulfill any of the other obligations that were required to be fulfilled in your divorce decree from Heather?
Some of them. You know, there was a lump sum payment, I believe, of $3,000 to pay off a bill that I paid off, and you know, I was working on other things, but they did not come to pass.
Did Heather eventually pursue you for your failure to fulfill your obligations?
She did.
What did she do?
She filed some sort of a complaint in court saying that I was not fulfilling my obligations under a divorce decree.
How did that resolve itself?
I believed that it resolved itself in an agreement and then a payment to her.
What was the agreement on what you were supposed to pay Heather in that resolution?
In that resolution, I was supposed to pay her roughly $1.5 million.
Did you make that payment?
I believed the payment was made on my behalf. I did not actually make the payment, but I saw documentation, and I believed at the time that it was made. I had no reason not to.
I believe you told the court you had $32 million. Is that correct?
That's what I was told. That's what I had been provided documentation to show.
Let's go ahead and get into that.
Yes, sir.
You said things began to get weird. Can you explain that to the jury and also explain about the time frames for that?
Yes. In 2017, we were discussing my upcoming departure from active duty. We were discussing, you know, starting a family, several things, and Mindy was very actively watching all of our spending because she wanted to make sure that we were in the best position financially, and she started noticing odd deductions from our accounts that weren't tied to anything that we were doing. Sometimes they seemed to be, the ones she showed me were, they didn't even have transaction numbers. It would just say something like payment, and you know, hundreds of dollars would go missing. At the time, we thought it was an error with our bank. We were banking with USAA at the time, and thought that this was some sort of a bank error that would be easily resolved.
Did you tell other people about the bank issue outside of Mindy?
At this time, I don't know that we did. We might have, but again, in early 2017, we did not think that this was a serious issue.
Did you take that up with your bank, USAA?
Mindy did. I was, at this time, both working full-time in the Pentagon, looking for jobs, and I was still taking that LLM at night, so I was kind of burning the candle at both ends, but she was taking care of kind of Mindy was not working at this time, so she was in charge of that.
And again, when you say at this time, would you tell the jury the rough time frame of
This
the
is
USA?
early to mid 2017.
Okay. Please let me get my questions out so that the court reporter can get it all down. You said 2018?
2017.
2017. Anything else strange begin to happen around that time frame?
Not at that time, though. We had been having kind of some, I'll say, familial arguments. Mindy. It started with Mindy and my brother Chris, and kind of evolved over time to include our parents. It was, at that time, I believed it to be kind of normal marital, a new wife, somebody that they didn't know very well, and that these were kind of growing pains that we were going through.
When you say marital arguments, were those arguments between you and Mindy?
Sometimes, but more often between Mindy and my brother at this time.
Your brother Chris?
My brother Chris.
Okay. Any other weirdness begin to happen later?
Yes, sometime in late 2017, we had seen kind of a brief reprieve where we thought that things had, our bank had fixed the issues, that things were no longer going wrong, and suddenly it kind of restarted with a lot more than it had before, and we also started seeing vandalism at our house. I would sometimes get a